Hey everyone, just wanted to get this out while the thought was fresh in my head. Over the last, I don't know, day or so, a video that was posted up to YouTube has gone viral, and it is illustrating something that some of us have known for quite a long time. Basically, it's about the media and, how there's been, manipulation, stretching of the truth, and outright lies. And this video, I guess, it really puts it into the sharpest focus I've ever seen. So I'm going to actually show the video. Credit goes to YouTuber, goes by name, just the letter D, actually. And I will put the link to the original video into the description. Pay close attention to this, because this is something that I would never have believed possible in America. This is one of those things that I grew up hearing, well, this is how it is over there. This is how it is in nations who do not have our freedoms. So, with that, I present the video.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities, the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But
we are concerned about troubling, irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. Those words spoken over and over and over again at the end of this video. What this was, if you haven't become aware of this, was a scripted little puff piece sent out by the heads of Sinclair Media, I believe they're called, Sinclair Media Group. I could be wrong about that. But this is a conglomerate, a media conglomerate that owns a lot of television stations. This isn't just Fox. As you notice, they had Fox, they had ABC, they had NBC stations. CBS stations. What it truly illustrates is something that I have known about for quite a long time. Back, I think, was it the late 80s, early 90s, I started listening to the spoken word albums of Dead Kennedy's former frontman, Jello Biafra. And grant you, yeah, he can get a little too far left even for me. The one thing that he spoke about, of course, was censorship, and he brought up a few times a book that was written by Ben Bigdickian, who unfortunately passed in 2016. Mr. Bigdickian wrote this book called The Media Monopoly, and in his first edition, he detailed how all media in America, the TV, the radio, the newspapers, were in the hands of, at that time, what was it, 24 corporations? And at the time that Jello was doing the talk where he mentions this, it had dropped to maybe a dozen corporations controlling all of the media. And the number just keeps shrinking. I have no idea where it is now, but it cannot really be a great number of corporations that own and control the media. The media as it is has expanded from what it was when Mr. Bigdickian wrote his first edition of The Media Monopoly. Back then, there really wasn't any internet. But as the internet became more public and became more widespread, and broadband started to become a thing, people could get their information faster and faster, and it got to the point where now, here we are, 2018, we are basically connected 24/7. We have so much information, and I'm not being specific about the information, just raw information. It flows at such a rate. It's either like, it's almost like an overload. But in the last few years, of course, with corporations buying up providers left, right, and center, once again, we go back to Mr. Bigdickian's book and what he talked about in, basically the corporatization of media, which brings us to the video that has been going viral the last couple of days. It is a script that was sent out, and it was a mandatory read, which meant the news people at these stations, due to their contract, must read this statement verbatim. The people who work for these Sinclair-owned stations, they're not the bad guys. They're merely, I guess, tools. They don't exactly have a choice. It's in their contract. Sinclair, the company, the corporate entity, the ones who are passing down these statements, that's who you should have your attention on. And it's not just them. Media bias is nothing new. The little buzzword fake news, please do some history checking. Fake news is certainly not new. Newspapers, really started to be a big thing. William Randolph Hearst engaged in what was called yellow journalism. There's that famous bit about the Spanish-American War. He sent a reporter to Cuba to report on the war. The reporter cabled back saying, "Arrived in Cuba, don't see any sign of a war." The response, "You supply me the photos, I'll supply you with a war." Fake news, alternative facts, yellow journalism, whatever you want to call it, it's not new. It has always been with us. Now it is just so all-encompassing. It's difficult without actual digging to find the truth. And even when you do your investigation to find the truth, it can be tricky. With, you know, all the talk about you know, spam bots from Russia, you know, foreign influence and everything else, and the proliferation of social media, which is yet another aspect of the media monopoly. This should not be surprising. The propaganda that we were told about when I was in school, keeping in mind, I'm going to be 49 this year, all through the 70s and 80s, because we technically still had the Cold War going. When we spoke of Russia, we spoke of the USSR, we spoke of China, we spoke of these brutal regimes where their freedoms are curtailed. There's no freedom of press. You might only have 1 or 2 television stations, and those were owned by the state. And the only thing you heard was what the state wanted you to hear. If the state wanted you to believe that Americans are such savage barbarians that they eat their own young, well, you're damn right that's going to be broadcast. And you're going to believe it, because that's what the leadership wants you to believe. But no, that could never happen here, right? It has. Over and over and over again. Whether it's the news, whether it's entertainment television, and in our modern day and age, the internet, social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. The media monopoly is very real. And I wonder if it is too late to break this monopoly. Or we, the people, have we just become too weak, too passive, too complacent? Sort of ironic I'm saying this, you know, making this video on a computer with all intent to put it on the internet. But I suppose whatever outlets are there, you have to use it, right? I'm no big YouTuber. I'm just a guy just trying to get by day. But the evidence is there. The video you saw at the beginning, well, if that's not proof of propagandizing in America, well, what is? And of course, there are going to be people who won't even believe that. They'll go on social media and decry it as a hoax, as some sort of a conspiracy. People believe all kinds of conspiracies. You know? Crisis actors, chemtrails, you name it. In this day and age of media monopoly, media manipulation, what is truth? I don't have the answer for that. But I know this much. If you want to get the truth of the matter of something you've seen on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or even your nightly news, do your research. Don't just go to one source. Go to 3 sources, go to 6 sources, go to a dozen sources. Dig. I mean, we have the internet. We have at our fingertips the largest repository of information anyone could ever want. We have information, so much of it. You know, and this is what we do with it. I suppose that's how we ended up the situation we're at now. A reality TV star is president, and the media is maneuvering us. And we sit and take it. Or do we? I'll leave you to think on that one. If you actually stayed through and listened to me yammer, thank you very much. Think on this, and maybe things will change. Maybe it'll rally us to action, like it rallied the kids to do something about gun violence. Maybe it's time we as Americans, we start rallying and do something about the manipulation courtesy of the media. Thank you and have a good day.